for Michelin's soft front. Everybody on the soft rear, apart from Fabio Quartararo on the medium, Jack Miller. It has to be said. Here comes Taka Nakagami for the first time in his MotoGP career. He starts from pole position. Teruel. Away we go, the lights go out, a brilliant start, a dream start for Taka Nakagami. But here comes Alex Rins as well. Nakagami will lead. Rins, so the place that Rins gained on Italian. Who's that? It's a Ducati. It's a Ducati that's gone down. Alex Rins. Oh, Nakagami! He's gone! He's blown it! Oh, his dreams have gone already! He's fluffed his lines on the LTR Honda. Can you believe what you're seeing? Unbelievable. It's Binder and Jack Miller who have gone down on that squirt between turns 1 and 2. But can you believe it? The red hot favourite, the clear favourite, Takanaki group. Morbidelli leads from Rins. It's Johann Zarco on the Ducati. The 2019 Ducati is Sponsorama Racing in championship leader. Can't take much more of this heart-stopping drama and tension in MotoGP. Can you believe it? Nakagami already on the floor. Oh, my heart is pumping through my chest. I feel so sorry for Taka Nakagami. But where do you look in MotoGP at the moment? Here's also very, very aggressive. Nakagami caught cold literally by a cold left-hand side of that front tyre as he swept through turn. I don't know who that was with. It looked like Alessio Spargaro and Andrea Dovizioso. I'm surprised to see that the incident involving Binder Hurt and Sting this is some time. Yeah, this is a real tough one to swallow. Poor old Taka Nakagami. Nakagami on the floor at turn 4. Heartache and pure dejection and frustration for him. What a time to do it, is whacking him to stick his nose in the title. Forget about that one. Now, let's have a look for now. Through turn 1. There's contact there, wasn't it, between Rins and Morbidelli by the looks of it, as well off the line. Like Miller may well have just checked, maybe a bit worried about something ahead of him. 6.5 does the other for me. Probably a racing incident to find a way past Fabio Quartararo. You can see how quickly Mir's been able to gap Fabio Quartararo, who's now come under real pressure. Wide there from Fabio Quartararo. Surely Crutchlow goes through. Crutchlow's wide though, and allows back through Fabio Quartararo. Crutchlow 48.554, about a tenth quicker than Alex Rins behind him. Zarco looking strong, still in that third place. Even there of Cal Crutchlow. That was a brilliant shot of Cal Crutchlow's eyes. There's Morbidelli in third. Taka Nakagami, as we said, caught out with that cold left-hand side of the front tyre. Full fuel tank him then. Franco Morbidelli will drop down the hill into turn 14 for the third time of asking. Simon, down to you.
The guys around him, I think it's going to be super interesting what he can do to
wasn't he? He was slightly wide just on the approach to turn 5. Underneath him. Rins have clicked into a serious pace here as well. Alex Marquez, in fact, just as Simon's saying that, he's got through on Crutchlow, and now he's also Alex Marquez, because yesterday, having tried it in FP4, he liked it, but said he didn't feel like it gave him the best anyway he wanted on the circuit. Now that hard front tyre could pay dividends big time in the last 10 laps of this race, where we're looking to try and make a move and thought about it on the flick left into turn 9. Downhill they go. It's Zarco in third. He knows that Morbidelli's not pulling away from him. Oh, poor Taka Nakagami. That's horrible to see. Feel sorry for Taka Nakagami. It was looking like potentially being the dream day. He'll have another with Maverick Vinales. Thomas Spargaro is up to 8. He's gone through on Cal Crutchlow. Joan Gates from Marquez on that last lap, about 3 tenths away from Joan Mir. There's Cal Crutchlow, got him in him. That looks like the hard-charging Miguel Oliveira, who's about to find up the inside of Crutchlow. Yeah, smoke poured a lunge up the inside of Ika Lecuona. So as wide as he was, he's made up a place there, Dovey. Fastest lap of the race. Cusp of the best race lap set by Lorenzo 5 years ago. That spells danger for the temperature. You've got to feel like he's going to have the better front tyre grip towards the end of the race. So as he pulled off an absolute tattered with the early stages of this race, but there's so much to come here. So many tails that could still twist. Here is Joan Mir, 4th place. The pair of them are catching Zarco, but the pair of them are also being caught by Alex Marquez. Will it reap rewards for him? Right now he's finding it so difficult to get on par with Johann Zarco. With the Ducati here, when you want here from Franco Morbidelli as well, he's not buckling under pressure, that's for sure. He's maybe just gapped Rins by another tenth, and yeah, it's a 48 flat from Morbidelli. That is an all-time lap record set by the Italian at the back again. Will that medium rear spring back into life in the middle stages of this race, though? That's what he'll be hoping for. Turn 3. Mir will have been told that Alex Marquez is coming, and it will have worried him. He had to get through on Maverick Vinales, and that was lovely. Over is the 73. He's going through right now. It's beautifully done. That's class. That is close and class. Yeah, brilliant. Everybody was saying that the Honda in the past was hard to turn, a bit of understeer. No dramas whatsoever for Alex Marquez. Mir was running in a little 48.2. keeping an eye on the rest of the lap times. Yeah, Alex Marquez in good shape at this moment. He's got bother here, big style, hasn't he? Yeah, he is being joined by a couple of pretty hot-looking KTMs right now with a Morbidelli, so he's just nowhere even close to being on the same pace as his teammate. And at the moment, as it stands, he's losing and nothing it up. Let's look at this move from Joan Mir's Suzuki. Awesome, absolutely beautifully done by Alex Marquez. His current lap, Marquez has pulled away from Vinales by nearly 7/10 of a second. Here he leads us from the helicopter. That's around 3-4 Teco's rear tyre quite easily, passing him on that Ducati. Well, that will be an altogether more complicated challenge. Johan Zarco so far, well, they'll be delighted with his efforts. He's been informed that he's all over the tail of Fabio Quartararo in the battle for 7th. You have to credit Quartararo because he's digging deep here. The pace as ever, so close in MotoGP. Iker Lecuona in 13th place is lapping just as quick as Morbidelli. Thought at home it was probably Maverick Vinales' jaw hitting the floor because he's just not got any pace at all to go with Alex Marquez. Squirt down to the first corner. Well, that time they rubbed elbows, didn't they? He got front row seat of that. Yeah, not the first time this year, is it? That Brad Binder's been caught up in a little bit of drama at turn. Alex Rins in 2nd and Johan Zarco back in 3rd. Now, will that be a concern for Joan Mir? Isn't it interesting as well? The two and Alex Rins, the pair of them saying, hang on a minute, we're still right in this championship battle, and they really, really are. Look at this, Morbidelli. Well, MotoGP ticks off the laps. The more you're convinced that this is going all the way down to the final round in Portugal. He's struggling. He's in 7th place. Mind you, he's in better shape today than he was last time out. What about a Dobby check? Mir. Here comes Paul Espargaro. Sorry, Matt. He's making a move on Fabio Quartararo. That's another place drop for the Frenchman. Aleix Espargaro having a slightly better run as well, just behind Cal Crutchlow on the Aprilia. He's 11th. They drive out the corners to line Aleix Espargaro up, and we've heard repeatedly Aleix Espargaro say how much he's lacking it down to under a 10th now, so he's right on Zarco's case. Alex Marquez still there as well in 5th. There's a gap back. Spoken of getting stuck behind the caddies for too long. He's gone for it. He had to do that. He had to do that because Morbidelli and Rins are starting to break away. The cow will never really, if he's got any desires of closing in that top 2. Yeah, well, Zarco now has got trouble in the form and shape of Alex Marquez. The problem was it just cost him that time at the end of the race where he couldn't reel in Rins or Quartararo. I think he want to be stuck behind Johan Zarco for too many laps here if he has ambitions and hopes of being on the top step. He was going to go for this at turn 15, isn't he? Is he going to be close enough to try and make the lunge? No, he's not. He'll try and maybe. He was so good. Goes through into 4th. Can he hold on though on the start-finish straight? Across the line. Zarco bites back again. He's got the inside line. In that 3rd place. Here he comes. Yeah. That was lovely. Again, that's exactly what Joan Mir just did. He had to do it. Can Johan Zarco find a way back through Honda through those final couple of corners? It looks like it turns now the Honda here in Aragon as good as that Suzuki. Zarco here, it's not letting. At the moment, he's comfortably controlling Alex Rins. In fact, that's the biggest advantage the Italian has had for distance between the two of them. At the moment, they're on course for a 1-2 to bring themselves right back into championship contention. Fabio still closing on Maverick Vinales. 12 laps to go. There'll be 11 in a moment because the leaders are approaching the final. Breaks at the end of the back straight. He's had to be to defend positions, and now Paul Espargaro moves up the inside of Maverick Vinales. Quartararo in turn, he goes up into 12th place, the number 27. Crutchlow and Andrea Dovizioso. That was a pretty famous battle. Aleix Espargaro, he fires it back up the inside of Iker Lecuona. These boys are mixing it like it's a motor together. These are your leaders out front. Half a second covering Franco Morbidelli and Alex Rins. Yeah, now past halfway distance, and here comes Miguel Oliveira, and Fabio Quartararo drops to 9th place in this race. He bites back, someone's gone down! Is Alex in 4th, flicking it right. He crashed there last week, and down he goes here in the race with the hard front. And that wasn't making any headway on the top 2. No, he's not. The last 2 laps, Morbidelli and Rins have done 48.8s. Surely he's got to pull the pin soon because we are running out of laps. He's 3.1 seconds behind, and Franco Morbidelli and Rins is his case. He finds that little bit extra, another 10th to pull away. Aleix Espargaro comes from a long way back to lunge. Moves up into the top 10. At that point, Dobby's thinking, right, okay, right ahead of me is Fabio Quartararo. Let's try and work out a strategy to get ahead of him because the Aprilia hasn't got the drive coming out the corners with that lack of horsepower. So Aleix Espargaro perennially said, oh, Dobby, he's about to make a move on Cal Crutchlow. He goes up the inside, and now we have 3 KTMs inside the top 10. Agro, and then wide into reverse corkscrew, Lekuona and Crutchlow come sweeping through. Byron nodding his head in appreciation of Dobby getting in a bit wild and out of shape as he tries to find a way through on his former teammate Cal Crutchlow. Terrible lap that by the way. Fastest man of that group, by the way, is Stefan Bradl, we should just point out, on the Repsol Honda. Yeah, he's covered himself in the end of a second. Yeah, last time around, to his credit, Morbidelli was the only man still able to lap in the 48. That gap just under 0.8 of a second. As the two stronger, in inverted commas, Yamahas win of the 2020 season. Yeah, you can bet the boss watching at home, Valentino Rossi on the couch in Tavuglia. Probably not a lot of Aragon of victory, which is going to haul Morbidelli right back in championship contention. He's blitzing away from Rins here. Yep. There is Maverick Vinales, who might yet drop back to 7th place because Miguel Oliveira is closing, and he can Maverick Vinales then, another championship rival, drops another place. And look at this. Aleix Espargaro for a strong charge late on. The gap between Morbidelli and Rins has crept up to over a second for the very first time. Rins slower on that last lap than Franco Morbidelli out front. Yeah, back to Johann Zarco. Don't do anything stupid, don't take too many risks. 16 World Championship points up for grabs here. You're increasing over Alex Rins. Rins has nothing for him. What about Pol Espargaro? Fires up the inside of Johann Zarco. And he potentially coming his way from his old employers as well, because Oliveira was coming into contention too. Well, 2 KTMs in the top 5 would be some really the leading light for Ducati throughout this Grand Prix. He would have learned a lot racing in the top 3 at the start. So there is no late show from Joan Mir. Is he just thinking about this championship a little here? Is it coming into his mind, fallen behind Danilo Petrucci? Is this the day that Dovi says goodbye to the 2020 World Championship? And here comes Miguel Oliveira, challenge Johann Zarco. He knew it was coming because he looked over his left shoulder at turn 7 and got a face full of Oliveira's number 88. He really has. It's been a fantastic job from him and Pol Espargaro. Meanwhile, out front with 3 laps remaining, 3.5 seconds he leads Rins now. Mir's definitely locked down into championship mode. Ruben Chaus. Who's gone down? Someone's gone. Oh, that's goodness cruel. Me, that is cruel. Because he's ridden his heart out today, Aleix Espargaro. He was chasing down Fad 16, yeah, and look, it's almost like there was no brakes. Or just, the engine's just cut out. What on earth? Take a bow so far. 2 laps remain in this race here in Teruel, and you can see he is struggling a bit. It's here in Motorland. It's going to be bittersweet for some of the guys in the Petronas Yamaha camp, with Quartararo down in 8th, but this man will be over the moon rather well for Franco Morbidelli, because there's been no drop in tyre for him. No. A little there has, but then for everyone there, 45 points in a week though. Represents a good 7 days for Alex Rins in terms of his championship. And again, the sun is finishing on the podium, and that's Joan Mir. 6 podiums in 8 races this will be. Yep, and it's that consistency in this single race. It's only ever happened once in the current 3-class format. Emilio Alzamora, 125cc world champion in 1990, said at the start of the weekend, nothing to lose? No, not quite. I'm still in the championship. Yesterday, Morbidelli made it quite them as well. They could be arguably leading this World Championship had fortune gone their way, but today they've both been. Mez class from Morbidelli in Motorland. A brilliant win. His 2nd of the season. The number 21 does it. And ahead of Oliveira. Vinales takes 7th. Quartararo 8th. Bad days for them. Even worse for Andrea Dovizioso rear tyre, because he was doing 51s. He was almost in the 52s. But late on was Andrea Dovizioso. Hats off though. Stunning success for Morbidelli, his 2nd win of the season. Of course, he won the opening race of the doubleheader in races to go. Franco Morbidelli, here, must be so proud of his man. Yeah, that's a good little tonic for Valentino Rossi. Thumbs up from Franco Morbidelli. Well, let's go and talk, though. I'm sure to a very happy Petronas racing boss Wilco Zeelenberg after his man Frank.
Like I did, what a beautiful, faultless ride from Franco.
Yes, indeed. So one in Misano, he did it again. Basically, he kept his pace going, and he had an unbelievable.
Congratulations! Thank you.
Yeah, you've got to say that ultimately speaking, Joan Mir from 12th on the grid to finish 3rd. A really 5th win, isn't it now, for Yamaha's non-factory team. Heady days in just their 2nd year for Petronas Yamaha SR. That switch onto the medium rear tyre on the grid. What a job. Both of his wins have been flag-to-flag victories, haven't they? Big effort. There'll be a bit of samba dancing going on.